Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradha Hari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradha Hari Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanata Hari Yamuna Tira Vanata Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradha Hari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradha Hari Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanata Hari Yamuna Tira Vanata Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari 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 Hare Kṛṣṇa Hare Kṛṣṇa 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Shyam Sundaradha Shyam Sundara Hare. Jaya Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Jaya Radhe Shyam. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Nitai Gaura Hare Bal, Hare Bal, Hare Bal, Nitai Gaura Hare Bal. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jayam Vishupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotara Sattva Shishamachila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jayam Vishupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotara Sattva Shishamachila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki Anantakuri Vaishnavrinda ki Shri Rup Sri Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Ji Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Sadhu Goswami Prabhu ki Prem se ko Sri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivajari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Sri Radha Krishna Go Gopal Gopi Gopinacha Mukunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Mathura Dham ki jai. Mayapur Dham ki jai. Jagannathpuri Dham ki jai. Tulsi Maharani Bhakti Devi ki jai. Vrinda Devi ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki jai. Sri Sri Gunita ki jai. Sri Sri Krishna Balaram ki jai. Sri Sri Radha Shyama Sundar ki jai. Go Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. We are reading from the Bhagavad-gītā as it is, 18th chapter, text number 74. Sañjaya vāca iti ahaṁ vāsudevasya pārthasya ca mahātmanaḥ saṁvādam imam aśrauṣam adbhutam roma-harṣaṇam Sañjaya vāca ahaṁ vāsudevasya
Sañjaya uvāca ityaham vāsudevasya pārthasya ca mahātmanaḥ saṁvādam imam aśrauṣam adbhutam roma-harṣaṇam
Sañjaya uvāca ityaham vāsudevasya pārthasya ca mahātmanaḥ saṁvādam imam aśrauṣam adbhutam roma-harṣaṇam Sañjaya uvāca ityaham vāsudevasya pārthasya ca mahātmanaḥ saṁvādam imam aśrauṣam adbhutam roma-harṣaṇam Sañjaya uvāca iti ahaṁ vāsudevasya pārthasya ca mahātmanaḥ saṁvādam imam aśrauṣam adbhutam roma-harṣaṇam
Matajis.
saṁvādam imam aśrauṣam adbhutam roma-harṣaṇam
Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa. Sañjaya vāca. Sañjaya said, iti, thus, aham, I, vāsudevasya, of Kṛṣṇa, pārthasya, and Arjuna, cha, also, mahā-ātmanaḥ, of the great soul, saṁvādam, discussion, imam, this, aśrauṣam, have heard, adbhutam, wonderful, roma-harṣaṇam, making the hair stand on end. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. Sañjaya said, thus have I heard the conversation of two great souls, Kṛṣṇa and Arjuna. And so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end. Purport, in the beginning of Bhagavad-gītā, Dhṛtarāṣṭra inquired from his secretary Sañjaya what happened on the battlefield of Kurukṣetra. The entire study was related to the heart of Sañjaya by the grace of his spiritual master Vyāsa. He thus explained the theme of the battlefield. The conversation was wonderful because such an important conversation between two great souls had never taken place before and would not take place again. It was wonderful because the Supreme Personality of Godhead was speaking about himself and his energies to the living entity Arjuna, a great devotee of the Lord. If we follow in the footsteps of Arjuna to understand Kṛṣṇa, then our life will be happy and successful. Sañjaya realized this, and as he began to understand it, he related the conversation to Dhṛtarāṣṭra. Now it is concluded that wherever there is Kṛṣṇa and Arjuna, there is victory. Om ajnana-timirandasya jnananjana salakaya chakṣuranmritam yanam tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanam manobhistam stapitam yena bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalan Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakandvidamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastude Datta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshari Vrishabhano Sude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Paritanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Sañjaya uvāca ahaṁ vāsudevasya pārthasya mahā-ātmanaḥ saṁvādam imam aśrauṣam adbhutam roma-harṣaṇam. Sañjaya said, thus have I heard the conversation of two great souls, Kṛṣṇa and Arjuna. And so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end. So here we're approaching the end of the Bhagavad-gītā. So in the beginning, Dhṛtarāṣṭra is asking Sañjaya to relate to him what happened on the battlefield of Kurukṣetra between his sons and the sons of Pandu, the Pandavas. And Sañjaya related everything. And Dhṛtarāṣṭra was listening very attentively. But of course, Dhṛtarāṣṭra, already in the beginning, he was a little fearful because the Bhagavad-gītā was spoken in Kurukṣetra, also known as Dharma-kshetra. And because he also knew that his sons, they were not always following Dharma, or hardly following Dharma properly. So therefore, he was fearful and he was worried about his sons. So Bhagavad-gītā was spoken by Kṛṣṇa to Arjuna, and then after that the great battle started. So Sañjaya here, as he concluded, after having realized by the mercy of Vyāsa what happened and understood and then related to Dhṛtarāṣṭra, so adbhutam, so very wonderful discussion, saṁvādam, between great souls. So here, pārthasya, Arjuna and mahā-ātmanaḥ, of the great soul, the Supreme Personality of Kṛṣṇa. So Prabhupada is making it very clear in the purport that because somebody may be thinking two great souls, so there's no difference between Kṛṣṇa and Arjuna. But Prabhupada is making it clear. And of course Kṛṣṇa, in the Bhagavad-gītā, he made it clear also, very clear, in different places. Although the Supreme Lord is most humble, but still, so sometimes there's a need also to make certain points very clear, and then one has to be firm, but in all humility. So Kṛṣṇa, so is endowed with all good, all wonderful qualities, is the embodiment of all qualities, of unlimited qualities. So he's the Supreme Lord, but at the same time he's most humble. And he's not going around, I am the Supreme Lord, I am the Supreme Lord. No. But sometimes, so there's a need to make it clear. So then he also explained to Arjuna, ahaṁ sarvasya prabhavam mata savam pavatati iti matva bhajante mam buddhava samanvitaha. So everything is coming from here. And so the intelligent persons, they understand this, and they will surrender to me, or they act according to my instructions. And then towards the end of Bhagavad-gītā, sarva dharmam parijyajya mamekam sharanam vaja aham tvam sarvapabhebhyo moksheshyame mahā-āsucaha. So give up all kinds of religion and just surrender unto me. And do not worry, you will be protected. So clear distinction is made here between the Supreme Lord, Paramatma, and the Jivatma. So Kṛṣṇa is Mahatma, of course, the Paramatma, the greatest of all souls. But those who are surrendered to Kṛṣṇa, they are also known as Mahatma, Mahatma, as Kṛṣṇa is also explained in Bhagavad-gītā. And those who are engaged in devotional service, they are known as Mahatma. And they are very, of course, in the material world, they are durlabh, and they are very rare, those who are fully surrendered. Bhavanam janamante jnanamam papadete vāsudevasya sarvamiti samahatma surulabhaha. After many births, one comes to understand, veti tattvata, in truth, that Kṛṣṇa is the Supreme Lord. So those who understand, those who are realized, they are also known as Mahatma. But there's a difference between Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Soul, and the ordinary soul, or the extraordinary soul, but who is part and parcel of Kṛṣṇa. Mamevam sajivaloke jivūta sanatana. All the living entities, they are part and parcels of me. Of course, all the great personalities they are also expansions of Kṛṣṇa ete chamsa kalapam sam Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. But there are also other personalities of Godhead. Vishnu, Narayan. So many personalities of Godhead are there. But Krishna is the foremost of all of them. Therefore he is addressed as Bhagavatam, as Swayam Bhagavan in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And Swayam Bhagavan is, only Krishna is addressed as Swayam Bhagavan. Or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not different from Radha and Krishna. Everyone else is addressed as Bhagavan. So, Krishna is speaking to Arjuna about devotional service. First of all, of course, that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. And that also then we should engage in spiritual activities so that we can realize. It is not enough simply to know, but we have to realize that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. Atma Sakshatkar, direct experience of the self. And that is perfection, practical experience of ourself and our relationship with Krishna. So it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of endeavor, and one must be under proper guidance also to realize the subject matter completely, or to realize Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, properly, veti tattvataha, completely. And as Krishna is telling also Arjuna, that tadvidi paripatena pariprasna sevaya upadekshati degyanam gyaninas tattvadarsinaha. Krishna is telling Arjuna, you have to go to the person who is realized, tattvadarsinaha, who is darshan, who has vision, who sees the Supreme Lord, who is the representative of the Lord. And under his guidance, if we follow his instructions, and by his mercy, then we can advance in spiritual life. So, but endeavor has to be there, and inquiring, and then following the instructions, and then begging for the mercy also, crying for the mercy, and then we get some mercy, and then we can advance gradually, step by step. So first the mercy is required of the spiritual master, the representative, and then we can approach and get the mercy of the Supreme Lord. And then we can have a relationship with the Supreme Lord. So here, also then as one is advancing, then one can understand the subject matter more clearly. And so here Sañjaya, so as explained here by Prabhupada, that as he was actually, so by the mercy of Vyāsa, he was seeing what is happening, and so he was hearing directly. So as Arjuna was hearing, so Sañjaya, by the mercy of Vyāsa, he was also hearing. And so he was also benefited. Just like Arjuna, of course, these are already great personalities, as I say, it's of the Lord. But in this world, they appear to be just like ordinary persons, but they are extraordinary persons that we have to understand. But for our benefit, Krishna is speaking to Arjuna. Arjuna is already his devotee. By the Lord's mercy, he is bewildered to some extent. But that bewilderment is spiritual bewilderment, not material. But by that, because Arjuna was bewildered, although spiritually, but so it is there to show the conditioned souls that how one has to engage in devotional service. And then, so Krishna is speaking, then Arjuna is also asking questions, and in this way, then Krishna is giving the transcendental knowledge. More and more explanations are there. Karma yoga, jnana yoga, and bhakti yoga. Krishna is saying bhakti yoga, that is the ultimate process of realizing the Supreme Lord. And so Sañjaya is hearing, and so he was realizing that subject matter also, by the mercy of Vyāsa and by Krishna's mercy. And so Kṛṣṇa and Krishna Nama are no different. And hearing about Krishna directly from Krishna, or by hearing from the representative, the bona fide representative of Krishna, then one is practically getting the same benefit. If one is sincere, or if one is receptive, and if one is following the process. So here the important point which Sañjaya is saying is adbhutam, saṁvādam. So saṁvādam means discussion. So that is a very wonderful discussion. So wonderful that roma-harṣaṇam, making the hair stand on end. So that is an ecstatic symptom. So different ecstatic symptoms are there. Tears coming from the eyes, not able to speak properly, and then becoming stunned, the hair standing on end, or trembling due to transcendental ecstasy. Ashtasattvic vikar are there. Of course, different degrees are there also. And even there we have to try to understand that so spiritual, transcendental emotions, ecstasies are there. And then in the material world, they seem sometimes to be very similar or exactly the same. But they are not, because Krishna is not at the center. And so therefore these are material emotions. And so material kind of ecstasies are there also. And then we can see practically, and most probably have experienced also in our life, sometimes that standing on hairs. Anyone experienced that? Standing on the hairs on the end? Anyone experienced that? Also, yeah, me too. But in the beginning, in my youth also, I was playing football. In Europe, everyone is playing football. In India, everyone is playing cricket. So, and then sometimes, so if we scoring, and then the hairs are standing on end. But the tears are coming, and we won the game, and we became the champions. But Krishna is not in the center, and then it is material. So different kinds of emotions are there. So, but when Krishna is in the center, then it is transcendental, and that these are actually the true emotions, and true transcendental ecstatic symptoms are there. In the material world, these are perverted reflections, but they have some existence because they are in the spiritual world. But the material world is perverted reflection, so the different sentiments are there, emotions are there, or different symptoms of ecstasy may be there, but it is material because Krishna is not in the center. So that has to be understood. And even different degrees of transcendental ecstasies are there. So Vaikuntha Bhaktas, they feel some ecstasies. Or even as sadhakas, practicing devotees also, in the beginning we may feel some ecstasy while chanting and dancing. But if one is not yet completely transcendental situated, then the emotions and the symptoms, they also are completely transcendental. Because still, if one is on the modes of material nature, then the emotions, the sentiments, the ecstatic symptoms, they're also not pure, but they're mixed with material emotions, or due to the modes of material nature. But so Krishna has to be kept in the center, and we have to continue with our devotional service, and then the emotions, they become more and more pure, and also the transcendental ecstatic symptoms, they become more and more manifest and more relishable. And so Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, he has expressed in Sikshashtakam, so 8 verses which he wrote, only 8 verses. I mean, not only 8 verses, the essence of everything is there in the 8 verses, as the Acharyas have explained also, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur and others. So much is there in these 8 verses, everything is there. So Nayanam Galada Sudaraya Varanam Gadgada Rudaya Gira Pulakana Chara Tavanamaganahane Bhavishyati. So Mahaprabhu is praying. Of course, he is the Supreme Lord, and he's always able to feel the transcendental emotions of Srimati Radharani. He is Krishna himself. Radha Bhava Dyuti Somitam Naumi Krishna Sarupam. He is Krishna Sarup. But he has come with the bhav and the luster of Srimati Radharani. And Srimati Radharani, so she is the most exalted of all the associates of Krishna. Mahabhav Sarupini, the embodiment of Mahabhav, the greatest transcendental emotions are there. And so Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, but he has come to experience the love, pranaya of Srimati Radharani, Radha pranaya. And then by her love, the transcendental qualities of Krishna, so she can experience, oh, Krishna is so beautiful. And when Krishna is playing the flute, it is so wonderful. So because of her love, so she can most appropriately experience the beauty of Krishna. And then the transcendental experience which is there, that is most exalted, that is most wonderful. Adbhut. Adbhut Marirma. So she is experiencing. So Mahaprabhu is experiencing is Krishna, but in the mood of Srimati Radharani. And so he has come to give actually these transcendental emotions. So he's coming in this world as a devotee to establish the Yugadharma, the chanting of the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And so he has come to give specifically Braj Bhakti. Anarbita charim chirakana vatana kalo samarapita unad ujjalam savakti shriyam unad ujjala ras. So that refers to actually the unad ujjal ras that refers to madhurya ras, the love of the gopis. That is unad, that is the highest. So specifically he came to give this. He came to establish the Yugadharma, the chanting of the holy names, the process of devotional service, but then so specifically Braj Bhakti, because that is Because Mahaprabhu is no different from Radha Krishna, so he wants to give this. And especially the love of the gopis. And as he was giving the holy names, giving this knowledge, although he's always experiencing in the spiritual world these transcendental emotions, but he has come here as a devotee so that we may learn by hearing from Mahaprabhu, by hearing about Mahaprabhu and how he performed devotional service. So first in Navadvip, so chanting the holy names, he started the Yugadharma, the chanting of the holy names in Mayapur as a householder. So living as a householder, following one ashram, and then manifesting also these transcendental emotions more and more, especially after entering the sannyasa ashram and coming and staying in Puri. But then he was also, for 6 years, he was going throughout Bharatvarsha, India, and then distributing the holy names and telling others to take up devotional service, or to distribute this devotional service, or the knowledge of Krishna. Yaredekatayaka Krishna Badesh Amaragyaya Guruhanatara Desh. Whoever you meet, you give Krishna Padesh. That means Krishna's instruction to Arjuna, as here in the Bhagavad-gītā. And then he also came to Braj for almost 2.5, 3 months and revealed the lost holy places of Braj and told his followers to write transcendental literatures in this regard. And then he went back to, of course, he also went to Prayag and Varanasi and gave this transcendental knowledge to Rupa and Sanatan and sent them also to Braj and told them to write transcendental literatures. And then, so he came back to Puri and during the day he was chanting the holy names. And then evening time, night time, he was staying in this place, Gambhira, and he was hearing from Sarup Damodar and Rai Ramananda Roy about Radha Krishna's pastimes. So Mahaprabhu, of course, many times he expressed these wonderful transcendental emotions, and so they were manifested to a very wonderful extent which is not possible for ordinary persons. So Mahaprabhu is not different from Radha Krishna, is Swayam Bhagavan. Again, at the same time, he is most humble and expressing many times. So he didn't want others to address him as the Supreme Lord. No, I'm the devotee of the Lord. Sometimes he was saying, oh, you're Bhagavan. He was saying, no, Vishnu, closing his ears. No, don't speak like this. I'm simply an ordinary person. Of course, whatever the Supreme Lord is doing, either Krishna or Mahaprabhu, and so many things we can learn from there. And so many hidden things are there. So he wanted also that people should understand that one should not pose as the Supreme Lord. Like many imposters were there, posing themselves at Krishna's time, and even later on Mahaprabhu's times, or even Bhaktivinoda Thakur's times. Even nowadays many people, of course nowadays not so many, because mostly people are so materialistic, so especially those who are drunken, or they take some drugs and they think, oh, I'm the Supreme Lord now. So that we have personally seen also. But no, we are very insignificant. And so also, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he showed that we should remain very humble all the time. And even one should not show one's devotional excesses or one's bhajan to others, unless, of course, if somebody is there, a friend, then one may exchange one's understanding, one's realization to somebody else, but not to everyone and to ordinary people especially. And so in humility, he used to say also, I don't even have a scent of love. Prema gandha. I don't even have a scent of love of God. I'm chanting the holy names of the Lord, and sometimes some tears are coming from my eyes. But it is just to make a show, so that others may be impressed. Oh, look at this person. So tears are coming. So his exalted personality. So again here, so out of humility is expressing, but then also to teach us that if it is coming sometimes some ecstatic symptoms, that we should not then immediately think we are special and become proud. No, then we should see it as Krishna's mercy, but we have to try to remain very humble. And we should not try to show others. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu other times then, so he could not control. Of course he's the Supreme Lord and he's a Supreme Controller, but still, in the past time, by his internal potency also, he was so much overwhelmed by his transcendental emotions, like hair standing on end, the voice faltering, sometimes in front of Jagannath. Seeing Jagannath, not only seeing just Jagannath Dwarkadish, but then seeing Krishna, or feeling separation from Krishna, remembering Krishna at the same place actually, at Kurukṣetra. So that was also later on at Kurukṣetra. Krishna and the gopis, Krishna and the Vrijavasis, they all met there during a solar eclipse. It was a solar eclipse, and so many persons came from all over Bharatvarsha, India, and they assembled there for that eclipse. So the Yadavas, Dwarkavasis, those in Kurukṣetra, those in Hastinapura, and they all came to Kurukṣetra. And the Vrijavasis had also come. So Krishna was there. And the gopis also had come. So first Krishna spoke to Yashoda, Nanda Baba. And then, but later on then, when the opportune moment was there, then the gopis, they approached Krishna. And so they expressed their love, and they wanted Krishna to come back to Braj. And so when they saw Krishna in royal dress, and of course Krishna is always beautiful and wonderful, but the gopis, simple village girls, they remember Krishna playing the flute in a simple dress of a gop, cowherd boy, and wearing beautiful flower garlands made by the gopis in Braj. So they wanted Krishna to come back to Braj. So Mahaprabhu, he was remembering doing the Rath Yatra. So Nilachal, the temple there, that refers, and the Krishna is there actually as Dwarkadish. And then Gundicha, so that represents actually Braj, Vrindavan. And so that form of Jagannath is actually Kṛṣṇa, remembering his pastimes in Braj. And so that happened also in Dwarka one time. And one time then finally so he came back to Braj and then he manifested that form, seeing Śrīmati Radharani. So these are the highest transcendental emotions, Mahabhav. Of course, even so, Kṛṣṇa's pastimes are, as mentioned here, also adbhut. So these transcendental emotions are adbhut, wonderful. Kṛṣṇa is wonderful. Kṛṣṇa's pastimes are wonderful and very deep. That Kṛṣṇa actually in Kurukṣetra, that is Vasudeva Kṛṣṇa. Dwarkadish of Vasudeva Kṛṣṇa. And that's Śrīmati Radharani there, that is Samyogini Radha. So Kṛṣṇa, Yashodanandan is always in Braj. And Śrīmati Radharani, she is also in Braj. Vrishabhanu Nandini, Śrīmati Radharani. But a special manifestation is there. So these are all very deep, of course, transcendental subject matters, but we should try to understand this also. And then we can also feel more and more these transcendental loving sentiments and to a higher degree. And the ecstatic symptoms, they will come to a higher and higher degree. So in Dwarka also, the love is there between Kṛṣṇa and the queens. So much pure love is there. But in Braj, the love is even higher. And the transcendental ecstatic symptoms are even higher. Of course, we as sadhakas, so we are simply praying, as Mahaprabhu also told. When will the day come? When some tears will come. Of course, not like Mahaprabhu, like torrents of rains. So we cannot pray for that, but we are praying for sometimes let some tears of love come. Just 1 or 2 tears of love sometimes. Or due to separation. Or crying out to Kṛṣṇa, please be merciful. So we should pray ultimately. Of course, the main thing is actually that we should be engaged in devotional service. And never mind if the ecstatic symptoms are there or not. Even one time in Dwarka, the chariot, of course Kṛṣṇa was chariot driver of Arjuna just for 18 days during the battle. But otherwise he's the Supreme Lord and he's Dwarkadish. Jagat Guru, and is the Lord of the universe, is the Lord of all existence. So he is a chariot driver in Dwarka. His name is Daruka. But of course Kṛṣṇa is not always sitting on the chariot. Sometimes he's going out and then the driver is there, chariot driver. Other times he's there to do some seva also. He doesn't just want to sit down here and do nothing. So he wants to serve. Therefore sometimes he's taking the chamara and he's waving the chamara, like the pujari is doing in the temple, waving the chamara. That is done for the great personalities. And then he was feeling ecstatic symptoms. Some tears were coming from his eyes and he was trembling because of transcendental emotions. But then he was not thinking, oh, that is wonderful, I'm feeling some transcendental emotions. No, he was thinking, I have to stop. And these emotions, they have to stop. I have to serve Kṛṣṇa. So we should always be ready to serve Kṛṣṇa, and that should be always there. We should always serve Kṛṣṇa. And so ecstatic symptoms may be there or not. But as the Ruka was showing, that we should, nice if they come, but it should not disturb our seva. Seva is more important than feeling transcendental ecstasy. But it will be there, but it should not disturb our seva. That's also. So different symptoms are there, or ecstasy, and the highest ecstatic symptoms are there in Braj. So sadhakas, we pray, as Mahaprabhu has prayed, that when these symptoms will come. So they will come when we are advanced in spiritual understanding, when we are pure in consciousness, then naturally they will come slowly but surely. In the beginning, sometimes feeling some ecstatic symptoms, some tears may come, and later on more. So here, Sañjaya, he was feeling transcendental pleasure, and so the hairs on his body were standing on end. So having heard the dialogue, saṁvādam, of course Prabhupada is explaining, so never before it was there and never after it will be. So that is just in general term, but we know that even in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, there's Rai Ramananda Samvad. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking to Rai Ramananda Roy. And actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Kṛṣṇa himself. And who is Rai Ramananda Roy? Mostly, of course, we know Vishaka Devi, but it is mentioned also that Arjun Saka is there also. But we can also not understand by ordinary material intelligence. So only by engaging in devotional service we can appreciate, we can understand. So Rai Ramananda Roy is primarily Vishaka Devi, but then also Arjun Saka. From the spiritual world, Arjun Saka and Arjuniya Gopi, and then Pandavajuna there. So Krishna speaking there, together. So Mahaprabhu. But here it is the opposite actually. Mahaprabhu is there and asking Rai Ramananda to explain to him about devotional service. And then there are also different levels of devotional service. And even then, Rai Ramananda is quoting verses from Bhagavad-gītā, Yad Karoshi, Yad Ashnasi, and so on. And Mahaprabhu is saying, very nice, good. But this is all external. We speak a little more. And only when Rai Ramananda is speaking about Braj, then Krishna is saying, Mahaprabhu, Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, bhalo, nice. And continue. He's not saying this is external, that's the real thing. Very good, bhalo. Bangla Vasha. Any Bengalis here? Yeah, bhalo. Khub bhalo. Very nice. And then so he's speaking about first the servants, very nice. Say a little more. Speaking about the friends of Krishna. Then Mahaprabhu, oh, very nice. He's more enlivened to speak more about Maria Yashoda, very nice. And then when he's speaking about Srimati Radharani and the gopis, then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is completely satisfied. And then he's embracing Rai Ramananda. So at that time, Rai Ramananda, of course by Yoga Maya again, he did not know who is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He did not know. By Yoga Maya. But then, as he was explaining and speaking and then about the gopis, then Mahaprabhu embraced him, and then they were feeling ecstasy. Of course, Mahaprabhu always feeling ecstasy. But then Rai Ramananda also, and tears were coming from the eyes. Feeling so much ecstasy and trembling. And then he saw Mahaprabhu is there, and then he saw Radha and Krishna. And then he fainted. And Mahaprabhu picked him up. And then he understood that that Mahaprabhu is no different from Radha and Krishna. And then of course Mahaprabhu told him also, thank you very much for telling me all these wonderful things. And then Ramananda Roy is saying, then he realized that actually, whatever I'm saying, that is by Mahaprabhu's mercy. I could understand. And he's saying, just like the clouds. The clouds are giving water, but where from is the water coming of the cloud? From the sun, it is coming from the reservoir of water, and then it is formed, then a cloud is formed, and then it is raining. So Mahaprabhu is like the ocean. And then, by his, of course, own sweet will, then the knowledge came to Rai Ramananda. So he had some knowledge, but then deep realization by Mahaprabhu's mercy. Of course, he's an associate, but even as the associate, so a gradual process is there for the pure devotees also. When they are in this world, they are covered by not Mahamaya like the ordinary people, but by Yogamaya, the internal potency. But then slowly but surely, the transcendental knowledge is fully manifest. And so then Rai Ramananda, then he, of course, understood. But still then the question and answer was continuing. So wonderful samvad, Rai Ramananda samvad. So Prabhupada also, before writing Chaitanya Charitamrita, he had also mentioned about that, Rai Ramananda samvad. The small book is there. Because it is very important. Because it is showing the essence of what Mahaprabhu came to give. And that is actually Braj Bhakti. In all the books of the Acharyas, it is there. So therefore even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, so it is the essence of all the Vedic literatures. More so than the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is known as the essence of the Vedas, Vedanta Sutra. But then the explanation of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the deep meanings are there revealed in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And the essence of the Bhagavatam is the 10th canto. And then the essence of the 10th canto is the first part of the 10th canto. And then especially the Rasa Panchandhyaya, the 5 chapters regarding to the Ras Lila, which is one of the most celebrated pastimes of the Lord. Savaram Manoram, most enchanting, most wonderful. And then 5 Geets are there also. The Venu Geet, the gopis glorifying the flute, of course Kṛṣṇa also. And then Gopi Geet, after Kṛṣṇa left, Radharani first left, then Kṛṣṇa left the Ras Lila, and then Kṛṣṇa left the Radharani. Then the gopis in separation, they were calling out and looking for Kṛṣṇa. So that is Gopi Geet. And then they come together again, Yugal Geet. And then Pranaya Geet. So out of love, so some separation is there, sometimes some transcendental anger. But then again the love is there, and it is increased than the love. And then the Brahmara Geet also, when Kṛṣṇa left. So these are very important, these are the essence of the Bhagavatam. But then to fully understand, so that we can by reading, by hearing the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Mahaprabhu revealed the deep meanings of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then, of course, then through the 6 Goswamis, through Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Vrindavan Das Thakur, the associates of the Lord. So the essence of the Bhagavatam is revealed, and what Mahaprabhu came to give, Braj Bhakti, that is revealed, that is explained for our benefit. And then we can feel the highest form of ecstasy. So the main thing is we should try to advance in spiritual life, we should try to advance. At the same time, everyone wants to be happy. Even materialistic persons, they want to be happy. Nobody wants to be unhappy. Everyone wants to be happy. And everyone is striving for happiness. But materialistic person, they are looking in the wrong direction for happiness. But then as devotees, we know that, and therefore it is natural. Anandamaya Vyāsat. We are such an Ananda Vigraha. That is our nature. We are eternal. full of knowledge and bliss. So therefore we want to be always happy. But as sadhaka also, because still under modes of material nature, sometimes some difficulties are there, and modes of material nature are there, then some unhappiness is there. But the more one is advancing, the more the transcendental bliss is there. But then there's another kind of unhappiness there, transcendental unhappiness. Vipralamba bhav, feeling separation from Krishna. So there's everything is increasing in spiritual life. Anandam buddhivadadam, the bliss, the knowledge. But then even transcendental distress is increasing also. But it is all wonderful. So just, of course, Sañjaya here is very much thrilled having heard these wonderful instructions. So we should also be thrilled. So we are also able to hear the Bhagavad-gītā, and then, but we can even hear more by the mercy of Mahaprabhu. So we should all be thrilled. Everyone is thrilled in transcendental ecstasy. If not, you take some prasad. And then we can easily be thrilled. So anyhow, everything is clear, or if some question is there? Any questions? Everything clear, right? Okay, Jai. Dhṛtarāṣṭra Bhagavad-gītā ki. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.